Imagine a land that is so ancient that it still speaks of a supercontinent that vanished millions of years ago. A once more forgotten island, a life that has become completely foreign and magnificent. This is not Africa, this ain't Asia. It's a place where lemurs dance in trees older than man, where baobab trees stand like upside-down giants, and where the dead celebrate with the living. 1,200 miles away from the nearest continent, a place where explorers once sailed 4,000 miles across open sea in small boats, and where one man's error on an ancient map named an entire nation. From the secret kingdoms beneath turquoise waves to blood-red highlands and forests that protect themselves with chemical warfare, we are about to embark on a journey through a living museum of evolution. A land of great beauty and delicate wonder. Hold on tight. Madagascar is waiting. Our journey begins not on land, but in the liquid armor that surrounds it. Most believe the coral reefs of our world are delicate, fragile ecosystems on the brink of collapse. But the southwestern shores of Madagascar guard a 250-mile continuous barrier reef, older than the Great Barrier Reef of Australia. And it hides a miraculous secret. As oceans overheat and global reefs bleach and self-destruct, these corals refuse to die. They have genetically evolved to withstand extreme heat. They are not fragile. They are indestructible aquatic gladiators forging an impenetrable shield around the island. This thermal fortress draws titans. In the waters of Nosy Be, an armada of giants gathers. Over 500 whale sharks patrol the depths. Almost all of them adolescents, using this hidden pocket of the Indian Ocean as a safe haven to grow. And from June to September, the waters thunder with the breach of humpback whales, arriving from the freezing Antarctic to breed and give birth in the warm embrace of the island. But the true guardians of the coast lie further south, near Fady and Anakau. Here, vast underwater meadows of seagrass sway in the current. These submarine plains do more than hold the shifting sands against the devastating erosion of the sea. They are the domain of a vanishing phantom called Dugong. Madagascar remains one of the last great sanctuaries for these gentle sea cows in the entire Western Indian Ocean. They graze silently in the emerald twilight, hidden from a world that has mostly forgotten them. The ocean provides life, shelter, and an illusion of endless abundance. But step out of the water and cross the western shores, and the paradise instantly evaporates. Ahead lies a wasteland where survival requires monstrous adaptations. Welcome to the blood-red Laterite Plains of the West. During the dry season, this forest looks entirely lifeless, stripped of leaves, roasted by the sun. But this is the illusion of death. The forest is just holding its breath. The plants here develop vicious spines and thick, bulbous stems. They appear identical to desert cacti, but are completely unrelated. It is an evolutionary masquerade, designed to endure a drought of agonizing months. Out of this hard, iron-rich soil grow the real rulers of the dry lands: Baobabs. 6 of the world's 8 species are found exclusively here. They are native to Madagascar. Numerous visitors head to the famous Avenue of the Baobabs, believing it is a pristine natural wonder. It is not. It is a crime scene. A man-made scar left behind after mass deforestation. These isolated giants, more than 800 years old, are the only survivors of a slaughtered forest. As darkness falls, the baobab awakens. Massive 15-centimeter flowers violently bloom in the moonlight, courted by ghostly bats. But only to wither and die the very next day. But the ruler of this sun-baked forest is a phantom, the Fossa. It moves with the agility of a mongoose and strikes with the power of a cat. But it belongs to a family all its own. Armed with bizarre, fully reversible ankles, it can sprint headfirst down vertical trunks like a squirrel from hell. It is the ultimate apex predator, the only hunter on Earth capable of chasing giant lemurs through the high canopy. In this wasteland, survival is so brutal, it twists biology into a nightmare. To survive their youth, female fossas undergo a shocking, temporary transformation. They develop a spiked, male-like appendage, a terrifying physical disguise designed to ward off the lethal, unchecked aggression of adult males. And when mating season finally arrives, it is a grueling, relentless marathon that can last for 6 agonizing hours. In the dry forests of the West, life doesn't just adapt. It warps. Leaving the scorched wastelands behind, we begin a grueling ascent into the clouds. The Central Highlands. Although we are in the tropical latitudes, the humid breath of the jungle is entirely stripped away. As the sun dips behind the jagged peaks of the towering massifs, the air turns sharp. It bites at the skin. The temperature plummets towards 0, and frost begins to crystallize on the ground. This is the illusion of climate. The rolling, mist-draped grasslands that stretch before us were long dismissed as dead, empty landscapes. Forests reduced to ash by the fires of early humans, but the truth is far older. These cold, wind-swept moors have existed for thousands of years, perfectly adapted to the unforgiving altitude. Yet, humanity did carve its monumental signature into these mountains. The original ancient subhumid forests were systematically dismantled, replaced by colossal geometric rice terraces. A sweeping man-made stairway to the heavens, completely transforming the visual identity of the highlands. Beneath these terraces, the earth itself seems mortally wounded. The soil here is unimaginably ancient. Millions of years of relentless weathering have heavily saturated the dirt with iron, turning it violently, aggressively red. When the intense highland rains finally arrive, the fragile earth erodes and washes away. The mountains literally bleed, hemorrhaging deep crimson water into the arterial rivers of the valleys below. It is a haunting, cinematic spectacle, and the sole reason this place is known to the world as the Great Red Island. Navigating this cold, bleeding domain is Madagascar's most iconic resident, the ring-tailed lemur. With their wide amber eyes and striking patterns, they look perfectly innocent, almost cartoonish. But this is perhaps the island's greatest deception. Unlike others, these lemurs are bound to the earth, spending nearly half their lives marching across the freezing red dirt. When the biting dawn finally breaks, the troop gathers in silence. They sit upright in a profound, collective meditation. A striking yoga pose, exposing their bright white bellies to the sun. They are not resting. They are surviving, desperately absorbing the sun's life-saving thermal energy to stave off hypothermia. But do not let this quiet meditation fool you. This is a society forged in ruthless, unyielding dominance. Among the ringtails, females are absolute dictators. It is one of the most extreme, unbreakable matriarchies in the entire primate world. And the males? They do not battle for dominance with tearing teeth or slashing claws. They wage chemical warfare. When tensions rise, a male will rub his wrists against his own tail, soaking the thick fur in a foul, deeply pungent secretion from his specialized glands. Then, he violently whips it through the air, hurling a toxic, invisible cloud of stench at his rival. A mesmerizing, gag-inducing stink fight. And that tail, painted with 13 black and white rings, is no random trick of genetics. It is a precise, calculated banner of war. Yet, the fragile balance of this world, from these warring primates to the bleeding rivers and the sentinel trees, is held together by a force entirely invisible. It is a vast, ancient web of thousands of sacred prohibitions, known as Fady. On this island, the spirits of the ancestors dictate the laws of the living. You must not bury the dead on a Tuesday. You must never consume the flesh of a tortoise. You must not enter a village from the southern gate. To an outsider, these sound like primitive superstitions. But these rituals are a discipline of the soul that extends far beyond the village walls. Through Fady, the ancestors have turned the wilderness into a hallowed fortress. One law commands, never harm the lemur, for he carries the spirit of your forefather. Another warns, he who defiles the ancient Baobab curses his entire bloodline. This ancestral fear is the only shield protecting Madagascar's wonders from extinction. From this realm of unbreakable taboos, we must now descend into the dark, suffocating heart of the East. We leave the red dust of the highlands behind, plunging into a towering wall of emerald light. The Eastern Rainforest. These are the lungs of the entire island, a living relic of a lost world that has endured for nearly 90 million years. But don't let the lush beauty deceive you. This isn't a sanctuary. It's a battlefield. The air here is thick, saturated by a staggering 20 feet of rain every single year. That's over 200 inches of water, transforming this forest into a vast, suffocating steam room. Moisture from the Indian Ocean is trapped against the mountains, creating a shroud of eternal mist. Here, the trees tower 130 feet into the sky, a vertical city of endless stories. In the upper tiers, hanging gardens of epiphytes bloom in mid-air, ancient plants that never touch the soil, drinking life directly from the clouds. But look closer at the roots. You are witnessing a silent siege. Rival plants fight to conquer this territory, but the native forest strikes back. The trees release complex toxins, saturating the soil with natural herbicides to poison any intruder. It is a self-defending biome, an organic fortress that refuses to surrender. And in the shadows of these giants, the masters of illusion are watching. The panther chameleon. A predator in a vibrant suit, possessing the precision of a sniper. He does not strive for immense size. His strength lies in an incredible palate. His head is crowned by an elegant bony crest, and his scales are adorned with turquoise and crimson patterns. Most believe he changes color to hide, but that is the illusion. His skin is a canvas for his emotions, a living billboard that flashes with color to signal mood. When the strike comes, he is a master of timing. His tongue, nearly twice the length of his body, launches with incredible precision. It reaches a top speed of 60 miles per hour in just a fraction of a second. In the blink of an eye, the prey is gone. Yet, he is not the most invisible. On the bark of a mossy tree, there is a ghost. the leaf-tailed gecko. His body is a masterpiece of deception, mimicking not just a leaf, but a rotting, decaying leaf, withered veins and ragged holes. Along the edges of his body, delicate skin fringes dissolve his shadow, making him one with the tree. He is a phantom, a creature that scientists' hand might brush against him. But the true drama of the East lies beneath your feet. In the darkness of the forest floor. Here, among the damp leaf litter, lives an insect like no other. The Madagascar hissing cockroach. Reaching nearly 4 inches in length, these are not the pests of the human world. They are subterranean gladiators. The males are armed with massive horns, used to ram rivals in brutal battles for dominance. They are the only insects on Earth that breathe through specialized ports to speak, producing 4 distinct types of hisses for war, for love, and for terror. In a rare biological twist, the females do not lay eggs. They give birth to live, wriggling young. And when they molt, they emerge as white, ghostly apparitions, vulnerable and pale, before the forest floor hardens their bodies once more into a suit of armor. This is the heart of the East, a realm of extreme moisture and absolute deception. Today, less than 8% of this ancient world survives, a fading fragment of a lost continent, fighting for every hard-won inch of ground. But the greatest mystery of Madagascar doesn't lie within its scales or its fur. It is buried deep within the DNA of its people. Look closely at the people who call this wild, unpredictable island home. Geographically, Madagascar sits just 250 miles off the coast of East Africa. You would naturally expect its people to share the blood, the culture, and the history of the massive continent next door. But that is the ultimate geographic illusion. The ancestors of the Malagasy didn't just cross a narrow channel to find their true roots. You have to look 4,000 miles to the east. They arrived in outrigger canoes, crossing the vast emptiness of the Indian Ocean in a journey that defies logic. They didn't just migrate. They fell from another world entirely. Over 15 centuries ago, an armada of absolute daredevils set sail from the tropical islands of Indonesia. They navigated nearly 4,000 miles of open, violent, uncharted ocean. They had no compasses, no steel hulls. They crossed the crushing expanse of the Indian Ocean in primitive wooden outrigger canoes, guided only by the stars and the unforgiving currents. It was a mathematically impossible voyage, a suicide mission into the abyss. Yet, they survived. And today, the voices echoing through the Eastern Rainforests and the Red Valleys speak a language closer to the ancient dialects of distant Borneo than anything found in Africa. They are the ultimate voyagers, stranded strangers who conquered an alien hostile land and made it their own. And upon this alien soil, they built a culture that echoes the island's most ancient social patterns. While not a literal mirror of the dominant lemurs, the human heart of Madagascar beats with a profound reverence for the mother. In isolated villages across the island, women are the undisputed center of gravity. They are the silent, guiding architects of survival. It is the grandmothers, the matriarchs of the hearth, who make the life-altering decisions, navigating their bloodlines through crop failures and brutal cyclones. The men and women exist in a harmonious, complementary balance, but it is the feminine force that remains the anchor, an ancient system of mutual respect that has kept their families unbroken for 15 centuries against the unforgiving harshness of the Great Red Island. But the most profound illusion of all is how this culture perceives the end of life. In the West, death is the final curtain, a permanent severing of ties. But on Madagascar, death is merely a pause. Every 7 years, the highlands vibrate with pounding drums and brass bands for Famadihana, the turning of the bones. Families crack open the ancestral tombs, bringing their dead back into the blinding sunlight. They lovingly dress the bones of their ancestors in fresh, snow-white silk. Do not look away. This is not horror. It is a festival of pure love. The living lift the dead onto their shoulders, and they dance. They spin them to the music, share local rum, and whisper family secrets into silent ears. For the Malagasy, the grave cannot break family bonds. Famadihana is the ultimate defeat of mortality. A joyous, defiant dance proving that on the Great Red Island, the heart never stops beating for those we have lost. Madagascar is not merely a place on a map. It is a living, breathing testament to the impossible. From the stone-faced Baobabs to the ghosts of the canopy who rule through scent and shadow, every inch of this land is designed to deceive. We came here looking for nature, but we found a reflection of our own deepest mysteries. Madagascar proves that the boundaries we draw are nothing more than a fragile mist. We saw a desert that was actually a sleeping forest. We saw predators that wore the masks of their prey. We saw a people who crossed a lethal abyss to find a home, and who now refuse to let even the grave stand in the way of their love. This is the ultimate lesson of the island. Life does not just survive. It creates a masterpiece out of its struggle. It twists, it warps, and it transforms until the impossible becomes the only way to endure. We leave this world not as masters, but as witnesses to a truth that the rest of the world has forgotten. On this island, the past is never truly gone, and the greatest illusion of all is the belief that we are ever truly alone. In the heart of the Indian Ocean, on the edge of the world, the dance goes on, forever defiant, forever unbroken. This is Madagascar.